Evening, everybody. It's Derek from White Pine Bison. We're going to go on a little walk and show you the progress on the fencing that Janice, I, and Sherps, our neighbor Sherps, have been helping us with for the last 2-3 weeks. We've been working on this since May. You'll see a big pile of, let's say, brush in the field where the bison's going to be. We're going to probably burn that, say, January, after we get permits and stuff. So let's go for a little walk, and then at the end hopefully I can have a bison's tips for you. It's just going to be a tip, that's it. All right, so you guys have a good day and enjoy the walk that we're taking you on. This here is an old barn. This one was built in 1901. However, it was a big hip barn, but when I bought the property there was a big strip on both sides gone, so unfortunately this baby is kaput. There's a lot of good barn board in there that we'll be taking down, sorting out, and getting rid of. Well, selling most of it. So keep your eye open for that. And this house over here is our neighbor's, but this is their original homestead to the farm. It got severed off back in the 90s before we even bought this place. So then you got this one. This building here was, I think, in the 1800s. This one's a granary. That was 18 something. But yeah, they're all going to be gone soon. We're putting up new buildings. Time is for, we got to put new stuff here so we can actually use it. And here we are, we're coming up to the new bison pen. So as you can see, you can start seeing some poles here. That's going around the one side of the field. And you can, I don't know if you guys can see the brush and all that, but right there you can see a part of it. But now we're gonna go back to the bison pen and you're gonna start seeing poles. Okay. So we do have a 105-acre farm. It goes from Old Mill Bridge Road all the way down the Zion Line Road, so it's a lot of property. However, all these different buildings and houses around the property gives it a sense that other people own around here, but they don't. So right. So all these metal poles are drill rod poles that we got out of Timmins, Ontario. We bought them from Bison Dana. They got them from a company out in Timmins. We went up there to Bison Dana, picked them up, trucked them back for us, and we did it. We also did a little bit of trucking for some other bison farmers down in London, Ontario and such. So this has actually sped up the process of fencing quite a bit. They're 15 foot on center, believe it or not. It looks a little closer than that, but they are 15 feet on center. So this is going to be make the fence a lot stronger. So when we put it up, tie it in, it's going to be a quick process. Where the gates are, we're putting cedar posts where the gates are. That's going to save us on time on welding and so on and so forth. So I'll be able to use the cedar posts, drill holes in, put the gates up. And I'll put the fence on first, then the gates are last. And we're going to nail on the fence to the cedar post. So we're all going to hopefully have a video on everything that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, when we start all that. There's a bush over here. All this bush here is where we get our firewood from mostly. And then when we start fencing up along the roadway, there's going to be a lot less traffic here for wildlife in the area. But there is a lot of signs of wildlife. Look at that. You see the deer tracks there. You might even see some turkey tracks around here. But there is wildlife around here. Saw a bear here last Sunday. Popped its head out of the bush. Scared. Well, it didn't scare me, but it scared itself after it saw me. So I was in a car, so it wasn't too bad. Oh, here's some tracks. You know, you guys know what tracks that is? All right, those are actually pretty big tracks. They're turkey. All right, there's all the nice fence line. So the total, we got what, 139 posts in? 139 metal posts in from the beginning of the bison pen that we're coming up to, all the way down the other side. And don't worry, we're gonna walk across and show you guys the other side as well. This is just us starting the process of reclaiming this field and taking down all the trees and bush in the field. And the bison are going to help with that. They're going to get in there. They're going to trash all these trees down, knock them all down. So when I get in there with a backhoe after in the fall, start taking them down even more. So, oh, there's even a raccoon. Yeah, so right here, we use some cedar posts here just to save on the metal posts, so on and so forth. So we're gonna put more cedar posts all the way up to there, that post right there. So we're gonna be up there. So this is our 14-foot gates. This here's a 10-foot gate in between here and here, and the blue objects that you see in the background, that's our handling system. So once we get this field all done, we're gonna put our handling system together. We're gonna get the scale sorted out and put some concrete out, and that probably will be starting to use next spring. All right, there's all the fencing, the 5 rolls, and yeah, so the bison are going to be out of this pen here soon and into this bigger pen. So all right, now we're going to go back. We're going to walk down a bit, and then we're going to probably cut across. You okay with cutting across? Mm-hmm. On the way back here, I'll show you those raccoon tracks. They're actually little cute paws. There they are. Oh, look at that. The little guy was probably washing himself in this water here early in the morning or the afternoon. Never know. It's been pretty hot out, so yeah. At least when the bison get in this pen, they're gonna have a lot of grass and they'll be happy. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're in there, right? Mm-hmm. That's good. Gonna move that one in. Yeah. This is the one pole that we're gonna have to pull out and move in. But that's gonna be minor. That'll take minutes. And here you go. There's the airplane hangar. They used to fly gliders. The cadets used to fly gliders on this field back before I even bought this property. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, when back in 2020, was it 2020? 2020, I believe, we started, we went to social media and asking people if they wanted trees, like pine trees, evergreen trees, blue spruce. We had a lot of it, and actually we still do. However, since they didn't get picked up, they'll be all going into that brush pile. So now we're walking across the field to get to the other side. It's only from the one side to the other side, I think it's only like 400 feet, 450 feet or something like that, which isn't too bad. But the whole length of the field is 1,000 something feet. So each roll of the bison fence is 660 feet. So there's 2 rolls on the going straight down, and then maybe 2 rolls going the other way. So it all depends. So, but yeah, there's a lot of grass in here. I'm actually surprised. Really good though. All right, now we're coming out up to the other side of the property, and you can see that, you know, see all this mess here and all that. This is where the tree stumps used to be. I have a little bit of cleanup to do in here. I have to get some soil back in here and fill in these holes, but this is where all these big trees and stumps were. This is where the backhoe was good and dug out all these trees and all that. I just got to come back in here with my tractor and fill all these holes back in. So as you can see, that's clear there, and it's clear down here. If we go all the way down back to the pen, I don't know if you'll be able to see the bison in the pasture back here, but we'll try to get you guys a glance at the bison. But we didn't work in the heat yesterday or today because it was way too hot. So we'll get back out here tomorrow after my appointments, and we'll start cleaning up this stuff on this side, and so we can get ready to put poles in here. So it only should take a few hours to put these holes back together and stuff. A lot of work. I think it took me 3 weeks to do this fence line here with all the trees and brush. This is here, the other field next to the neighbors across here. Let's see if we can get you guys a glance at the bison. I don't know if they're going to come up to us or not. Before they usually just take off. Let's see if I can get you guys in closer. There you guys can see them there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. These guys will be over here sooner than later. So that's on the hot days. They're out. They're finally coming out of the bush right now. They spent most of their day in the bush, and it's cool. Actually, 20 to 30 degrees cooler over there. But yeah, and as you can see, we are on the other side of the field because I will scoot in. You can see the handling system over there. All right, which isn't too bad. All right, now we're gonna go back up and finish the tour of the field. Get a little bit. That's an old fence post. See that? You just hear nature all over the place, eh? The birds chirping. A lot of deer out here in this area too. It's beautiful out here. Black bears. It's kind of cool to see. So yeah, yesterday Janice and I went down to past Eganville to pick up some cedar posts. We picked up a trailer full. We should have enough posts for the rest of the gates that we're putting in. And I'm pretty sure we have enough for bracing as well. So we're gonna offload that in the particular spots, and then we're gonna finish augering out the holes for that, put the post up, and go from there. So as you can see here, this is where I started. I started here and worked my way down there. Got rid of all the big stuff. When I started this, I didn't know where we were gonna go for where the metal posts were gonna come out at, but we figured out yesterday, no, not yesterday, on Sunday, when it was nice and cool before this heat came about. There's a snake. It's kind of cool. Where they were going to come out at. So as you can see, there's no posts here because they're all rotten, all the cedar posts. This here and this here. So this used to be an old beef farm back in the day. So all this fence is all like 5 feet high page wire. So we were going to come out to here, to this post, but we changed our mind, and we're gonna come in here. And as you can see, I cleaned a little bit of this spot right here with a weed whacker, but I'm gonna put the bush hog on because I gotta do a better job than this. And there's raspberry bushes in here and all that. So we're gonna come in here and come up to this post here, and then head down So now we're gonna turn around and you guys are gonna see this big brush pile. So it's pretty big, it's large, all the stumps. The reason why I'm not using the stumps for firewood and all that, because there's a crap load of metal in there from fencing, and I really don't want that in my outdoor boiler. So it's in here. We'll probably burn this in January, February, whatever, and get rid of it. And now you're gonna see all the fencing coming down this way. So alright. And our neighbors, they'll get a nice view of the bison out here. Here's the fencing. Yeah. So this took us about, go from where we ended to where we started. I think it took us a few hours. So it wasn't that bad. Augering in sand and clay, it's not that bad. So it's pretty decent. Some of these poles are very, very greasy. We're gonna come back here with a bag and some scrapers. We're gonna scrape off this grease, pick it up so wildlife and the bison do not get into it. All right, we'll clean that off. No. There. So. And this is the other field behind our house. This is another 20-acre field here. So when we fence this baby off, this is going to be fenced off a little bit differently than before, because when we fence it off, we have to ensure that all this over here, oh shit, I'm not pointing up the sky, all stuff over here along the road is nice and tight, and then we get up to that corner up there and then make sure all these trees. So I'm gonna have to figure a way to rent a excavator for the winter or the fall and get that done. I can do that myself, because over on this side where all this brush line is, the past owners, they have dug a trench, but where all this brush is, that's where they dumped all the dirt and all that from the trench line that they dug. The trench line is there, it's open, but then there's the fence line on the other side of it. So I can't get the backhoe in there because it's too wide for a backhoe to straddle. So I'll have to get an excavator in there to dig up all this brush, these trees, clean all that, and hopefully I can get a dump trailer too, so I can put all that stuff in the dump trailer and then eventually dump it on where I want to dump it on the farm. So, and right here in between this pole and this pole, we're going to be putting in cedar posts for 2 8-foot gates. So it's going to be 18 or 16-foot openings. So once we do get this other field down here done, this will be more pasture for the bison. And then over here, this entrance here will be done in cedar posts as well, because this will be another gate entrance. And it started to rain. Look at that, it started to rain on us. Not that bad actually. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's a nice little rain. So from that post to this post is another gate in here. So we'll mark that out tomorrow and we'll put in the post accordingly. So, and for Bison Tips Tuesday, so if you take a look at the bison and the back of their neck with the muscle, that muscle there is actually for to swing their head left and right, so they can actually eat the grass in the winter time, because grass really doesn't it stops growing, it hibernates in the winter time. However, the bison will search throughout the winter. Even if they get in hay, they will be searching through the snow for grass. That's just That's just one thing about the bison that they will do all the time, because they are a wild animal and they're always looking for grass at all times. However, when they're on a farm and all that, they still do it, but it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. That's why they have that big hump on the back of their neck that helps them swing their heads left and right. There you go. There's another Bison Tip Tuesday. Thank you all that's watched the video, and we hope to see you again. You guys have a nice day, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Have a nice one.